Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So happy Friday. Today we are going to be talking about Bitcoin's breakout to 100,000 and all the reasons why it is near. It's about to happen. I think you guys could feel it. Momentum is back. So let's talk about everything that's going on. And let's talk about some alts. Some are doing quite well, including SUI. They have a huge partnership rumor that you may not have heard of yet. Let's talk about it. And is that the reason behind the recent price movement? All right, let's do it. Let's do it, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are starting out the day at 94,300, a little bit higher than yesterday, but you can see we are building that momentum, slowly rising. And we were at 95. We were at 95. So let's see. The US market is not looking so good though. So that is going against us. But recently, it does seem like Bitcoin has decoupled away from the US market. Let's see if that continues. But, you know, it's not so bad today. It's barely in the red. We'll see. And you got like MicroStrategy still leading, you know, in the green. So overall, you know, the fear level out there still kind of fearful. Has dissipated a little bit because people are sensing that the US and Trump is backpedaling, backtracking a little bit from all the harsh tariff stance. But, you know, it does seem like this will continue on for a bit. It doesn't seem like it's going to end quickly. Like here's something from South Korea that says, yeah, we're talking with the US. We're hoping to make a deal, but they're not saying we're going to make a deal by the end of April or even May or even June. They're hoping they're going to make a deal by early July. So a lot of these countries are not rushing. They're still, I mean, even though they want a deal, they're not just going to make a bad deal just to, you know, just to get it done. So some of these countries may be holding out for a while. But the biggest one is, of course, with China. And Trump asserts that he's talking with someone about, you know, about trade with China, even though China says that we're not talking to anyone in the U.S. So there's just this thing that's going on. China's like, we're not in discussion at all. But if you want to discuss, just cancel all the unilateral tariffs. And then, you know, we'll come to the table and talk. But Trump asserts that he's talking to someone. He's talking to someone. See, to quote him, they had a meeting this morning. It doesn't matter who they is. We may reveal it later. But they had meetings this morning, and we've been meeting with China, Trump told reporters. So it's like a secret person. So let's see what happens. But, you know, in the meantime, I've been reporting like Amazon sellers are raising their prices. All these American companies, they are reporting bad earnings or forecasting that they have to raise prices as well, or they will be hit with tens or hundreds of millions of dollars of losses due to the tariffs. So we haven't seen the repercussions yet. But if this continues forward, we may. But the good thing is, you know, we're starting to see more and more strength come into Bitcoin. Finally, we see some that recognize Bitcoin as a way to opt out of this. You know, I've been saying this for years. If you truly want to opt out of shenanigans, opt out of what governments or central banks and all these guys are doing, the way to opt out is to opt into Bitcoin. That's what you do. And recently, it seems like that finally clicked for some countries, for some funds, some entities, whales definitely, and it's been helping. ETF inflows still very, very positive and massive in size. I was gonna make a joke there, but I decided not to. 442 million for yesterday. That's on top of the 917 and 936 and the 400 and the 378 million. So you could see that's quite a lot. That's $3 billion within just the last 4 days alone. So you definitely have a lot of FOMO coming back into the market. This is kind of expected. I told you guys, a lot of people panic sold, and now a lot of people are panic buying back, FOMOing, right? But of course, there are many that did not fall for a trap, did not panic sell, right? And now we're in the mid 90s. But there were a lot that sold in the 70s and low 80s, and now they face a decision, should they buy back in the 90s? Some will probably do it, but now they're going to end up with less Bitcoin. So again, sometimes the best course of action, actually when it comes to Bitcoin, in most cases, if not all, the best course of action is just to hodl. That's it. Because if you give it long enough, Bitcoin will always come back and make a new high. It has proven, it always does that until we get proven otherwise, that it somehow does not get back to its previous high. I will assert that it will always do that. And, you know, again, that's why panic selling does not help. Because those that sold low now have to buy back, and they end up with less Bitcoin. And, you know, it's not good. Michael Saylor, I didn't even know this. Michael Saylor says banks are now free to support Bitcoin as Federal Reserve withdraws crypto guidance. I didn't know that there was a rule in the U.S. that required banks to report to the Federal Reserve if they wanted to get involved with crypto. It was like a special rule that the Fed implemented, but they just removed that recently. So this is very positive. So now banks are free to do whatever the hell they want. They pretty much do whatever the hell they want. You know, they could operate and give out loans without any reserve requirements. Most people don't know that. They removed that requirement a few years ago, and I don't believe they ever put that back, at least not for the big banks. The smaller mid-tier banks and the smaller banks still have requirements, the 10% requirement. The larger banks don't even have reserve requirements anymore. It used to be you had to at least have 10%. Now it's 0%. You can give out whatever the hell you want. But now they get to support Bitcoin and crypto. So that's fantastic. It is, right? Maybe one day you'll be able to stroll into your favorite bank and say, I want to buy Bitcoin. And it'll happen. It'll happen. And I know all of them want to be your custodian. They would love to be your custodian. And maybe one day they want to be your custodian, but also give you interest. You know why? Because they want to hypothecate your Bitcoin and loan it out and make business with it. But then you want to say no to that, because that's what they do with your money. That's why they give you that little bit of interest on your money so they can loan it out. But you don't want to do that with your Bitcoin. But that's probably why they want to custody your Bitcoin, so they could do some kind of thing with it. You don't want to do that. You don't want to give them your Bitcoin. Okay, going back. Why is a breakout to 100,000 for Bitcoin near A lot of charts indicate that. Here's one. Bull market support band. We had just broken above. Weekly close above this level would be very good. And we're getting close to it. I forgot, today is Friday. Today we have a large options and futures expiration. And the very fact that we're actually going up, we haven't seen much volatility so far today. We haven't seen a big dip. That is fantastic. I think futures expirations for CME comes in around 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. I think it's around there. Options expiration may be over already. I forgot the exact time because it is the last Friday of the month too. So it's a pretty significant Friday. So we may see a big movement right afterwards. But this is looking good. And then also there's other charts predicting 100K by May, and there's many of them. Here's one. You have a double bottom breakout. Okay, that looks good. And then you have a bull pennant, and we're looking to break out of that. That looks good. You have a falling wedge breakout. That looks good. And you have a lot of liquidity around 100K. And that looks good. And a lot of shorts waiting to be liquidated, right? Whatever you see a lot of shorts, like those short levels, right? They're waiting to be liquidated. They tend to be liquidated. And you see, it's a little bit hard to read, but all that up there around 100K right here, waiting to be liquidated. And then you got a lot more right here, probably like the 90, 98 level, 97, 98 level, waiting to be liquidated. Right around the corner. We're not that far off. We're close to 95. I mean, it's really like 5,000. That's only 5% move from here. It's not that big of a move. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Outside of Bitcoin, got a lot of good movers. A lot of good movers, especially if you look at the week. Okay, obviously, like Bitcoin went up like 12%, but Ethereum also, went up 12%. You got Solana went up 14%, Doge went up 15%, Cardano went 15% today. I mean, just overall, the week has been absolutely fantastic. We have a lot of good things happening in the space. For you XRP Army guys, XRP futures are set to launch. We already have Solana futures. Pretty good volume, but this is a precursor to the spot ETFs. So we know XRP and SOL, they're both going to get their spot ETF soon. And when they do, they're going to get a liquidity boost. So it's coming. This is a little bit far out, May 19th. But still, these are precursors to the spot ETFs. And I do think in a bull market, they will make a big difference, a huge difference. And Ripple says that they will delay their IPO plans for this year. They talked about it a lot earlier, last year and even earlier this year, but they decided they're not going to IPO. They're just going to focus on global expansion instead, especially since they have their new stable coin. I think they really want to spend time to grow that out. Stable coins are really, really hot. Really hot. So that may be why. And XRP network activity has skyrocketed 67%. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. Although recently they did have that hack, right, that they patched. But overall, XRP has been doing pretty well and held pretty well during the downturn. just recently has not been moving all that much because of the recent little hack thing. But they have been doing well. Someone else that has been doing well recently, been recovering, Ondo. And this may be the reason why. Ondo is all about real world assets. Right now they're focused on treasuries. But they're talking to the SEC about issuing US tokenized securities. That before would have never happened under Gary Gensler. Okay. Gary Gensler thought everything was security, and he would not allow anything in crypto to be tokenized and be a security. He just wanted to sue everything that was considered security. But now that he's gone with Paul Atkins, this may actually be a thing. If Ondo and others are actually compliant and able to actually really issue real RWA things, okay? Tokenized things that are securities, that are valuable things that people care about. That would be big, huge. I know they're starting out with just like treasury bonds and stuff, but they're going to move to stocks. I know like that's going to be huge. So a lot of you guys are overseas. If you want to get involved with say like Nvidia or Apple or Microsoft, and you can't because they're US based stocks and you're overseas, now you get tokenized versions of them. That will be huge. That alone will be massive, worth billions upon billions already. But then you can move to other things too. You could tokenize any collectible out there, like sports cards, Pokemon cards, precious art. I mean, literally anything, right? And be compliant. Even like, I don't know, houses and everything. It's good. Good stuff. All right. And then the next big thing I want to talk about, big rumor. This involves SUI. And this is probably the reason why SUI has been absolutely bonkers and been moving like crazily, like up 70-80% for the week. They were moving already. SUI was very oversold, so I could see how they were bouncing, but they're going more than usual because of this Pokemon rumor. Okay, and this came out like a day or two ago. So Miston Labs, which is the parent company of SUI, they bought this company called Parasol. And Parasol is basically a company that focuses on trading cards. And the whole point of this is SUI is already very involved with gaming, and they're involved with many things. But the whole point of this is they want to bring more traditional like card games onto SUI and make them like NFT based, right? Bring them on SUI, and overall, that's the plan. So that sounds normal, but they released this on the same day that people caught that Parasol was added to Pokemon Home, which is like a hub for Pokemon. It's like a place where people go and like store and trade like their Pokemons. Okay, as far as I know, I don't play it, I don't use it, but that's what I know. And it comes the same day that people saw that the privacy agreement changed. And if I could zoom in, no, it won't let me zoom in. You have to just, you could go look it up. But basically, the privacy agreement, the part where it says who we might share your information with, now says the Pokemon Works and Parasol Technologies. So people are putting it together. 2 plus 2 equals what? Why would Pokemon Home be sharing information with Parasol Technologies And this comes the same day that SUI puts this blog post out that Parasol has been acquired and is going to be bringing trading card games to SUI. So there's a lot of rumors about some type of Pokemon trading card game or Pokemon collection or some kind of Pokemon partnership that's brewing behind the scenes, that's coming to SUI, right? It's not a done deal. It's not set. It's just a rumor right now. But that's the reason why, it may be one of the reasons why it's been doing so well, because SUI has just been an absolute terror. But outside of this, SUI has been fantastic all around, very strong indeed. They're focused on a lot of games. RWA, they have memes, DeFi, everything. You could see their TVL has been growing and recovering very quickly since bottoming out maybe like a month ago, trying to catch up to where they were back in January. But one of the big caps in terms of overall TVL. So pretty good overall. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's see, US market still in the red, but we got MicroStrategy leading the way today, plus 2%. Robinhood is doing well. Coinbase, let's see, Coinbase slightly up, not as good. And Bitcoin still holding 94.3. And SUI still holding very well at 365. Overall, pretty good day. And Sol's up to 150, 154 almost. Good stuff. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right, let me scroll up here. Someone's asking, why is ADA dumping? ADA's up 2% today. It's definitely not dumping right now. All right, I caught up. I was reading all the comments. I wasn't on mute, just reading. You know, sometimes you can't tell if people are trolling or not because a lot of the OGs like to pick on the panic sellers and they will just like say, oh, something is dumping. But sometimes you can't tell if they're trolling or not. Sometimes they're just people that are just like panicking. I try to ignore, but sometimes I can't. I can't take it either. Dean is asking, is Ondo a premier RWA play? Yes, right now. But especially if they get this to be approved. If they get the okay from the SEC and they become compliant for issuing U.S. tokenized securities, that will be absolutely huge. Nintendo still owns a large portion of Pokemon. Imagine if that leads to some Nintendo GameFi and SUI. Chester, you never know. Right now, it's all rumorville, speculation, but I don't, like Pokemon Go has been such a huge success. That was a gamble and it worked. A lot of these companies, they're paying attention to crypto. They know it's the future. They may take a gamble and see. Having some type of trading card game on a crypto chain, I don't see that's going to like really backfire on them in any way. They might give it a go or just have some kind of collectible items. I could see it happening. Let's see. Mike, you are right. You aren't an OG here unless you remember nulls. Yeah, I really liked nulls before. And then the team like completely gave up and went into something else. Steven asked, do you think gold has topped out? Gold will not top out unless stocks start soaring again. Unless all the trade stuff gets settled and, we get that quantitative easing, rates start getting cut, and everything starts soaring, that's when gold has topped out. For now, not topped out yet. Kevin, have you just not been in here for like years, or you're trolling, or you're being like serious on B Pro? B Pro was acquired many years ago, and the two founders became employees, and then that's when they went downhill. Yeah, me says maybe this is a double top ish, like 2021, sell them and go away. You gotta look at why did we have that drop in 2021? What caused it? Number one, China kicked out every single miner that was in China, and that was like 60% of all Bitcoin miners. That forced them to liquidate everything and move out of the country. That is what caused the big dump. Are we going to see that again? Probably not. And second, we had FTX, we had a SBF, shorting the hell out of everything, trying to make a profit. We don't have that again. Maybe we have some big players doing that, but not like at FTX level. So to have like a 60% drop like we did in 2021, or over 50% drop, I'd say the chances are slim. What are the chances now in May? Yeah, there's basically zero chance that we're going to get a rate cut in May now. 6.7% has dropped tremendously. So we're not going to get it. The problem is, let's see, we're down to 58% in June. See, this is a problem. If the markets do too well, this keeps dropping. What we don't want is this drops to a point where we're not going to get a cut in June anymore, and then we have to wait until July for a cut, right? So that's the trade-off. So Trump, in a way, almost has to make sure that the markets don't do too well now. If it does too well, then we're not going to get a cut until July. Okay, Snack Commander. I see the endless spamming in the chat already. You don't need to send me a super chat. Are you more bullish on Bitcoin or Lakers? I really want the Lakers to win. I really hope they win, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to their game tonight. H-bar. George, from 1 to 10, how well will H-bar do? I don't know. I think you want me to say 10 because your name has H-bar in it. I think it'd do well. So I'll give it somewhere like 6, which is well territory. Please explain a scenario where XRP could reach $7. I think there doesn't need to be anything outside its current path. I mean, Ripple was like, its previous high in 2018 was almost $4, right? So it could get back up there. When the bull run hits, XRP will probably end up right around there. I think it'll be around $7, $8. There's no doubt that all the big alts, especially the ones that will get their ETFs, will see massive liquidity, especially when things are like getting really, really hot. ETFs have done wonders for Bitcoin, and I think they will do wonders for XRP and SOL once they get their ETF. And if Cardano and Hedera get their ETFs too, it'll do wonders for them as well. But I know the next two has to be SOL and XRP. So when they get them, it's going to be huge. Oh, coming up to 95. Yeah, SUI is still at 370. SOL at 155 now. SOL's getting some momentum back. Man, SOL has been so oversold in the last few months. Love to see it get back to 186. Next stop will be 186. After that, back into the 200s. That's the next stop. Can you check the BTC chart? There's an inverse head and shoulders formation. Do you think it will break 97K? I mean, if you look at it right now, there's an inverse head and shoulders already. I mean, bottom line is we're closing at 95. Okay. If you look at where we are now, this is a resistance that we formed back in March 2nd. And you could see this was actually a support level that turned resistance. We are pressing right up against it. If we break through, the next resistance is probably right around here. Yeah, like 97. And after that will be 100. So I would say, yeah, that's about right. The next stop is probably around 97. And if we have really good liquidations, which looks like we have a lot of liquidation walls or levels right around there. Look at that. Ooh, that's juicy. We got a lot. 95 going all the way to 96. All that will push us, and there's nothing at 97 here. So all that we just need a little push. This one here will give us a big short squeeze up to 97. Or like sandwiched right in between here. Heading higher. So the first liquidation level is about 95.1-ish. 95.128. So watch. It'll be hard, but once we get to about like right here, we may start popping up really fast. Like if we can break here, you'll see we'll start popping up like this. You'll see like cascading liquidations going upwards. We may see that soon. Double barrel photography. You know, that's what AI is for. And a lot of people still don't use it, but you could get a lot of good information about all these listings. And oh, see, here we go. Here we go. Let's see if we just keep going all the way up. The volumes kick in. Come on, we need more liquidations. That should be the first level. Yep, right there. We got through the first level. The next level is this 95.3. Oh, we just need to push a little bit. Oh, still going. How's the US market doing right now? Is it turning? Okay, it's turning. It's good. MicroStrategy leading the way today. Ooh. Ooh, a lot more liquidations happening. A lot more. More shorts getting liquidated, one after another. Oh, so close. 335. Did we get it? Yeah, we did get a 335 level. Another level crushed. It's got to go up a little bit more. Flavio says people that trade Bitcoin rarely do better than the holders. That is true. Long term, I honestly believe hodlers or holders do better. Traders short term can win better. I know that. Like, you know, there are days I do very well trading, but then there are days I do horribly. And I think, you know, holding is the best. The billionaires out there, not just in crypto, but, you know, in stock markets, they all just buy and hold. Or they started a company and they got stock. Oh, you know what? I skipped out in DCA on Wednesday. I might as well do that now. I know some of you guys look forward to that. Let me log in. It was buggy earlier this week, so I couldn't load it right. It still is buggy. I don't know if this site just kind of broke. It doesn't really show the percentages. Yeah, I mean, I'll load it up here, but it doesn't. It's not loading correctly. One week it doesn't show anything. It's still. Oh, there we go. 1 week up 16%. Not bad. Not bad. All time up 75%. It was up, I mean, just a few weeks ago it was like 50 something. Now it's up 75%. So not bad. I don't even know what to DCA. Yeah, I don't have a lot in Ondo. Ondo's down here, still in the red. More than 50%. I mean, nothing outperforms Bitcoin. I think I may do. Avalanche is okay. I may do. I can't do SUI beats. It's already done so well this week. Like Jupiter should be coming back because Solana's coming back. And it's tough. Everything's like still down, you know? It's kind of tough. You know, I'm gonna put a little in Ondo. I think I'm lightweight in RWA. And then maybe a little bit in a little bit in Jupiter too, because I think they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back strong. Yeah, but they're up 12% today. Oof. Yeah, but they're still down 40%. Yeah, I think they're gonna come back. All right. Let's see. Wait, is this right? No, that's not right. That's not right at all. Total value, 100.826. There we go. All right. I put 50 in Jupiter, and then I'm going to put 50 in Ondo. Okay. That's it. But again, those of you guys that are new, this is a DCA portfolio from back in 2021. $100 basically every week, every Wednesday. Just proving the power of DCA. No trading, nothing, holding basically. I made a few changes like last year and this year, but very little, very little. Mostly just DCAing, and it works. MAJ asked about metaverse, like sandbox. I don't know if metaverses are going to get hot again, if I'm being honest. Games have not been hot. So I don't know if metaverses are going to get hot. Maybe they will, but I really don't know. Metaverses are just not, it seems like it's just a fad. Even like outside of crypto, no one talks about it anymore. Like, it seems like the fad has gone away. It almost cleared out this level. Not yet. I think we'll retouch it soon. Back to 95. All right, guys. I think that's it for today. Overall, Bitcoin steadily moving upwards. A lot of charts show that a breakout to 100,000, which isn't really that far off, is near. And we got a lot of good movements with alts, a lot of alts, and this big rumor with SUI. So we'll see what happens this weekend, guys. All right, so have a good one. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys later. All right, have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.